Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Corey Snyder with Synthesia. Today, I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about who we are, what we do. So we're going to go over a bit of a two-part series. So we're going to run through quickly a couple slides that talk to you a little bit about who we are, why we even exist, and the power of Synthesia. We're then going to flip over. I'm going to jump into a live demo for you guys. And during that live demo, you're going to get the chance to see how it's done, how it's built, and basically how it works. So we'll jump directly into that now. So first and foremost, people want to watch and listen, not read. And I think we could all agree with that. And I'll go over some stats here in a minute, but the world has shifted, right? How we consume information has shifted. I like to argue that the world has finally caught up with the way that I like to learn, which is I'm a very much a visual learner and was when I was a kid. So now the world's just catching up, right? But in all honesty, our brains are actually wired. And as what are they wired to do? They're wired to better understand and remember visuals. And again, coming from somebody like myself, I 100% agree with this. But we're actually I would argue that we're being, in a way, rewired too. And we're being rewired because 82% of internet traffic is now video, which means we're consuming more video than we ever have before. I like to compare this to, if you all remember Vines, it's kind of the early days into that short form consuming video. Then it's transitioned over into obviously Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of good stuff. But this is a big deal because this is how we're now consuming content. The issue around the way that we're consuming information is that we're still doing it the old way. We're still going through the process of text. We're still listening to radio. We're still watching TV. We have the internet, obviously YouTube. And then as the world has evolved, we now have social media. And this war for our attention, and I don't use that obviously lightly, it has profound consequences. Columbia University released a study showing our attention spans over the last 20 years have actually shortened by up to 69%. It's getting harder and harder to keep our attention spans, our attention, which again is understandable if you get, again, just back into how we consume content, and the video is getting more and more short form, right? But the way businesses create content really hasn't changed. If you look at it from a perspective, and don't judge me obviously for using PowerPoint, but if you look at it from a PowerPoint perspective, PDF, we're still using like 70s and 80s and 90 things that were created in the 70s and 80s and 90s. But why? Because, I would argue it's because it's super easy. It's easy for us to just ship out a PDF. It's easier for us to ship out a piece of content via email, right? 70% of the content is still text-based, even though that massive shift to how we consume content, right? Which creates a sticky point for us, right? We're literally stuck in the past. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about why. Why are we still stuck in the past? And still 95% of corporate training and videos are stuck in passive one-way formats, as we just talked about, PDFs, emails, and so on. And that's, again, for a couple of reasons. And it's led to this, this isn't intended to be a doomsday thing. This is very intentional. It's led to this mismatch between the what consumers need versus how businesses are actually communicating. And the consequences have been dire. We see workplace accidents, fines from compliance breach, and reputational risks over and over and over again. And we're hearing, we got to find a better way to communicate. The problem is when you look at it from a perspective of the tools that we have available to us, right? Email, Teams, Slack, PowerPoint, video, real life. These are all tools that are available to us and available to our customers. But it's text-based communication still. But what we learned over the course of the last many years, it's not that they don't understand the most engaging form of communication. It's that they're living in this forced trade-off, right? So think about it from a perspective of commonly we see our customers are either maximizing efficiency, at the cost of engagement with obviously low engagement formats, email, PowerPoint, or making because they can't make traditional video today, right? Excuse me, it's costly. The forced trade-off is basically put Synthesia, the reason we exist and what we address, right? You no longer have to have this fast and affordable, expensive and time consuming. You no longer have to have that, but it is 10 times easier just to ship an email. Okay. That's where Synthesia comes in, right? Not only is it put in a place where you can be fast and affordable, you no longer have to have that forced trade-off. Some stats for you, just to help with the cause, right? Synthesia is faster and more affordable than traditional video. And I think that's fairly understandable, right? We're about 90% faster because you don't have to hire crews. It doesn't take months and months and months. It takes minutes. It's cheaper to produce. You don't have to fly people out. You don't have to cover the space or buy the equipment. And it's obviously 30% more engaging. And obviously much more engaging than text. Now, this works across all industries. These are some ones that we like to call out as far as manufacturing, pharma, finance, and so on. But Synthesia is impactful across all industries. And we're trusted by over 90% of the Fortune 100. And I even need to update this slide. We're over 70,000 customers. Now, let's start with where we are today, okay? If you look at it, excuse me, and I showed you this slide earlier, but this will make a little bit more sense. Over the last 8 years, we've helped customers turn flat, boring communication into engaging video in minutes with just a few clicks. Okay, but we all know that the most powerful form of communication has always been real human interaction. Completion isn't equal to capability. So we need to push further. That's why training experts will lean on live role plays. That's why one-on-ones and Q&As are so powerful, because they're building real life skills. They're one-on-one. But they're time consuming, inconsistent, impossible to scale, while quizzes only test memory. My kids would argue that all the time. I'm a horrible tester. To solve this, video must evolve from a one-way broadcast into a two-way conversation, right? So we asked ourselves, how do we actually make video just as easy as sending an email? Just as impactful as sitting around and talking with somebody at a table. That's where Synthesia's power, and we power the entire video lifecycle. Creation, management, localization, sharing and engagement, you name it. It's specifically designed for enterprises to scale video communication for all business needs to make an impact with creators and viewers. Okay, so now we're going to actually jump into the demo. I think this is probably the most exciting thing that you guys want to see anyways, so we'll jump in there. A couple things you're going to notice, and I'll go through some of this. We're not going to bore you with details, but I will dive in a little bit on what we're going to do today. We're actually going to build a video live. So the video we're going to build is going to be this one. Okay, so this, I pre-built it to get you excited about what it consists of.
Welcome to Acme. Starting somewhere new can feel exciting, busy, and a little overwhelming all at once. The good news is you do not need to figure out helpful people and to ask questions.
So it's going to pull in, obviously, some B-roll and some different content here. Okay, so that's what we're going to create today. And if you look at the top here, we have multiple ways that you can actually access creating a video with Synthesia. Super, super, super easy. I'm going to focus on my best friend I call the assistant, but really you can drop in a PowerPoint, you can drop in PDFs, you can drop in scripts, and I'll show you that specifically. So from the assistant, we're going to go ahead and go with a prompt on the video, right? So we can import a script, we can start multiple ways. This is by far the easiest way. So from the actual prompt, they're going to ask us for three main things: topic, audience, objectives. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed and pre-built a prompt, so you'll get an idea what this looks like. And arguably you can use, think of this from an LLM perspective, large language model. you have the ability here to basically build this prompt. So you can go to ChatGPT and go to Claude and say, hey, I need a prompt for a video that I'm going to use with Synthesia. I need the ability to I need it to topic, audience, and objective. And then you give it the information that you need, right? So I gave it like a URL, different information about the company, and then it went and ran and built this prompt for me, okay? But again, I can attach a PDF. I can change the time. There's some availability there. In addition to that, I have the ability to say, what type of delivery style do I want? Presentation or cinematic? From there, I can pick a template. I can change my brand kit. There's tons of accessibility here as far as that's concerned. We're just going to go with the default. We're going to hit create video. So at this point, the assistant's going to do one of two things. It's going to, on the right, it's going to review my request and ask me a question. Did I get this right? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, based on the fact that it's thinking about it and reading it and saying, do I have the information that I need or do I not? Okay, and you'll see the prompt right here. And now it's saying, you know what, you're good, Corey. I'm going to go ahead and start planning the video, and I'm going to start building and selecting avatars and everything else. And so you're going to start seeing it create specifically right here in the middle. And what it's doing is it's basically taking that prompt and it's saying, okay, let's do some research. Let's figure out what the flow needs to be. How do the scenes need to lay out, the whole 9 yards. So you can see now it's starting to populate the avatar. You can see here as I scroll down, it's starting to populate the script. I made this just a simple 2-minute video. So it may not be very long. It may be 3 scenes and maybe more. The great part about these scenes is I can add more if I want to. Okay. So once it's done, it's starting to generate some of the motion graphics. Once it's done, we can jump in and actually edit it, and I can show you a little bit more about what it looks like. But the cool part about it is you can start reading the script and say, okay, this makes sense. I'm okay with this. I approve of it. If I want to, I can change the avatar from here. I normally wait till we're actually inside of the editor to actually do that. But yeah, as you can see, it's building out the scenes. It's really pumping out the content. And they're wrapping up 5 of 6 scenes. So this to me is good enough. We're going to go ahead and jump in the editor. So one thing you're going to notice is very much like the look and feel is going to feel a lot like other tools that you have used from Google Slides or whatever it may be, PowerPoint. The idea here is I can move any of these elements around. I can say I don't like that. I don't like the size. I want to push this forward. I want to push back. I don't like the subtitles. I'm going to remove those. Or look, I want to change this to starting to started. And that's going to update automatically the subtitles. Subtitles are pulled from the script. Okay. So you can change any of all this. You can change the actual avatar by clicking on the avatar and selecting from our hundreds that are available to you. I believe 230 plus. You have access to those. You just drop them right in. And then once you select it, you just hit change all if you want to change all of them at once. That includes their voice, right? 140 plus languages with accents. You can actually change that, whether it's English or French or whatever it may be that you'd like to change it to. You can also adjust the speed if you want this to be a little bit faster. The other thing you can do as well is, let's say they're saying Acme incorrectly. I can then go to pronunciation. From pronunciation, I have the ability to record myself saying it, or I can just simply type out what I want to say. So you have that ability too. From here, you have really anything that you could imagine as far as how you want to build this out. You can add, as I mentioned, I can add a scene. There's all of these buttons up here. As far as media is concerned, you obviously have access to VO as well as other image creation things, and you can see all the images and different been created here. And it's simply, if you don't know what to do from a prompt perspective, just hit tab. It's going to take some of the content that it's already found, and it's going to then automatically create that prompt for you, and it'll drop in right in. From there, you can talk about, you know what, let's say we're working this through with 3 or 4 different departments. This video is for 3 or 4 different departments. And what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to invite people to collaborate on this video. You have full collaboration ability. You can type in and say, you know what, Brian, I'm going to invite Brian here. He's got full access. I want him to be able to comment, change, or whatever it is that you want him to do. Okay. In addition to that, you have interactivity. So let's say at the very last slide, I want to do a call to action and I want to say, do this, or do this. And let's say I want them to book a demo, right? I could just type in here, book a demo. I can also fully edit that design on the right-hand side here. I can also edit a lot of it up here. So again, you have full access to pretty much do anything you'd like to do. You can edit your captions, you name it, right? From there, let's say we're happy with this video. Let's say we're like, let's look at the motion graphics.
You'll get into 3 core tools right away. Slack is where day-to-day communication happens.
So I can preview the actual what it says and how it says. I can preview some of the motion graphics, but let's say we're happy with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go hit generate, title it. It's going to take 10 minutes to do this. We've been doing this demo for how long? Not very long. So we're going to hit generate. What's going to end up happening is now we're in a position of where it's over the next 10 minutes, our video is going to be done. And it's going to look like the one that I showed you here. And I want to show you a couple things about this video. One is you have the ability to see version control. Okay. So if I go to edit this video and I hit save, I can move to version 2. The benefit with that is if you're using, if you're taking this video and you are pushing it out to whether it's a public link or it is embed or it's a SCORM file, wherever you house that in your LMS, wherever it's being housed, once you update this inside of Synthesia, it will automatically update as long as it's embed, as long as it's a SCORM file, it'll automatically update inside wherever you're housing that content in your LMS, let's say. So you only have to edit it once. But again, you have version control. From there, if I wanted to translate this, I can translate it to, again, 140 plus languages and accents. I can pick the language. For the most part, it's one click. But let's say we want French. All I have to do is click that, hit translate, boom. It's going to now start translating that video, which includes lip sync, which includes the script, which includes the pauses and the motions, you name it. But as you can see with the avatars,
welcome to Acme.
The motions and the hand movement,
like your profile, time off, and other essentials that keep employment details in one place.
Okay, so that is as fast as you can build a video with Synthesia. And as we mentioned, that forced trade-off, you no longer have to battle with that anymore. The other thing that I'll call out is on the left-hand side, you have access to your own avatars. So from here, you have access to not only ours, but you can create your own avatar simply with a picture. Take one of your pictures, as you can see here, upload it to Synthesia. Within minutes, you have an avatar. Worst case scenario, 24 hours. From there, you record your voice, and now you're set. You have now created your own avatar, and you can create your own content. Okay, so now it's creating the French version of that video. But again, you have access to all of these different avatars on the enterprise version. Okay. You also have your brand kit over here. So what is your brand kit? Making sure you have your colors and your logo and everything else. So that way, when you create your avatar outfits and you change outfits, you have the ability to do that by, again, customizing it. Again, similar to the LLM mindset is like, what do I want this to look like? If I don't know, I can start with this by hitting tab and I can add this. I can then add my logo if I wanted to. There's tons of options. So I can have the logo here on the right-hand side of her jacket. So you, again, have tons of functionality. You have tons of customizations. Brand kits. In your library, you're going to find your media, music, fonts, and your templates. And then from there, Synthesia does so much. AI dubbing. You have a video that you've already created that's in English that you want to convert. That's not a Synthesia video that you want to convert over into French, German, whatever it may be, Spanish. That's where your AI dubbing is going to come into place, where you can upload that actual video and go through the entire dubbing process. Okay?
Hey there.
Example.
My name is Carly, and today I want to show you can reduce costs by up to 90% compared to traditional methods.
And again, lip sync, you name it. Okay? Obviously, all your videos are housed here in my videos, and then you have your workspace for other individuals if they're sharing their videos with you. That is Synthesia in a nutshell. I hope this was super helpful. Help you understand why Synthesia was created and the power that it provides. And again, the use cases are broad. The use cases are internal, external, as you saw from the industries that we work with. There's tons of useful and powerful use cases here. We work heavily in L&D, but as I mentioned before, from a training perspective, that's where this is going to be the most impactful. You need to be able to pump out videos, or a lot of people I've talked to the last 30 days want to clone their CEO. Their CEO is busy, but the CEO wants to deliver messages. They want to do employee onboarding. They want to do partner onboarding. They want to do whatever it may be, but they need to be able to do it quick and fast and in a way that is efficient, but also actually gets watched. I know too many times that customers spend so much time on creating PowerPoints and PDFs and they don't get looked at. Change that with Synthesia.